let's touch on array getter. Now what do we need to do here, or what do we want to do here? Let's just create something that is also very simple, and this one, let's call it who goes there. Josephine, please unmute and speak in case. Okay, yes, thank you. I think that's wonderful, thank you. Favorite food. Me, I like food. I like food well. I don't know what's in a day life they do if I know they chop. So I've gotta eat. I'll call this food list. Okay. Now these are just the two HTML that I want to write, and in this HTML we're going to create an array. All right, let me comment. Create an array of foods, and I'm going to call this foods, and we know that array is in block quotes. Rice is everyone's favorite. Beans is Nigerian's favorite too. Eba is a savior now in Nigeria. I don't know whether there's H in Eba or not. Yam now is for politicians. And Indomie is no more for Gen Z because grandparents now are eating Indomie. It's expensive. Alright, so here we have list of foods, and just look at what we're going to do. I'm going to say food lists food lists, and we're gonna pass this to document dot get element by ID. Not feeling too good, I don't know why. So let me comment what we are doing here. That will help to grasp the understanding. So this one, we are grabbing the UL elements. Now after that, we are going to loop through each food, and then we add to the lists. Loop through the foods and add to the list. Now you know that ul is an unordered list. So what we do, we are going to call this food. So we say food dots for each, and remember the last time we used for each for on what is it called, we used it on buttons and other elements. So here we're going to pass in a callback function that will access each food. So each iteration is going to return a food from the list of the foods. So here now we said the list items. So we are going to create the list items using this document dot create element. This time around we are not going to get element, we're going to create it because we don't have the element existing already. We're going to create elements. All right, and this one creates list items. All right, so this line of code here is going to create the list items, and then we're going to say what do we want to showcase in the list items. List items dot inner texts should be equivalent to the return of each iteration. Okay, remember here we're iterating over this array, and each item is now referenced as food. We're now going to return that food on the screen as a list item that we created here. All right, so how do we now move what we are the list into this one to show on the screen? And then we need to say food lists dots append child. What we are appending there is this, and voila, we got it on the screen. You see? So if I reload, it's going to be there because this is not, it's not coming from database, but it's array. So let's assume that I now add let me add spa. Is that how to spell spaghetti? So whatever that I'm putting in is showing the real time. Why? Because we are doing what? We are using an array to store kind of data. If I put dot dot dot, you see dot 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 right there, and it's been long I drank juice, so let me add juice here. So if you are following what I've been doing, you just note something. You know that the HTML we wrote here is just this. This is an array which is list of foods, and here I grabbed my HTML list, another list elements, and I use for each loop to iterate over my array returning each item as food. Now I created a list elements that I attach all the food returned to, and now this append child is now taking the list element that I created and attaching it to my unordered list element. And that's why we have it on the screen here. Now when you start working with database, you will understand this better. Right, you can use map, you can use for each, it depends, but let's just continue. At some point you will now begin to understand when do we need to use each of them, when do we need to use map, when do we need to use slice, when do we need to use field for each, and all what have you. All right, this is also very sharp. If you got any question, go ahead and ask your question before we go into another one. All these are just something quick to remind us of certain things that we have done before. This is array. There are so many things you can do with array. After this array, we'll now go to the next, which is objects. Questions?